My wedding dress was hanging on the door, a promise of a future just 72 hours away. In the quiet of our new apartment, my sister's voice suddenly filled the room. She thought she was whispering secrets to my fiancé, carefully crafting a web of lies to tear my world apart. But she had no idea he had put her on speakerphone. She wasn't destroying my future, she was orchestrating her own downfall, and we were her captive audience. My name is Helen Vega. I'm 28 years old, a woman who always believed in the simple things. A good book, a quiet life, and a love that felt like coming home. I thought I had found that with Liam. We were 3 days away from our wedding, from our forever. The afternoon sun was streaming into our small apartment in Cleveland, lighting up the dust motes dancing in the air. My wedding dress, a simple but beautiful gown, was hanging on the bedroom door. It was a perfect moment, the kind you see in movies just before everything goes wrong. Then, Liam's phone rang. The screen flashed, Clara, my older sister. Liam was trying to assemble a new bookshelf, his hands covered in sawdust. "Hey, Helen, can you grab that? Just put it on speaker," he said with a happy grunt, not looking up from his work. I tapped the green icon, and Clara's voice filled the room. "Liam? Are you alone?" she asked, her voice low and secretive. Liam winked at me and called out, "Yep, all alone. What's up?" It was a small joke between us, a lie that would uncover a much bigger one. Her sigh was heavy and full of fake sadness. "I have to tell you something. I can't let you make this mistake. Helen, she's been seeing her ex-boyfriend, Mark. I saw them together last week, getting coffee. They looked way too comfortable, Liam. She's not over him." I froze. My heart felt like it had stopped beating inside my chest. Mark had moved to Oregon 2 years ago. I looked at Liam. His face, once relaxed and happy, was slowly turning into a mask of stone. He slowly put down his screwdriver and looked right at me. "It's not just that," Clara continued, her voice dripping with fake concern. "She's in a huge amount of debt. Thousands. She told me she was waiting until after the wedding to tell you. She called you her safety net. She's using you to fix her life, Liam." A single tear rolled down my cheek, hot and sharp. But it wasn't a tear of sadness. It was a tear of anger. I saw it all so clearly now. Every little jab, every backhanded compliment, every time she tried to make me feel small. This was her grand finale. I reached across the table and slowly took the phone from its stand. My hand wasn't shaking. It was perfectly still. I brought the phone to my lips, took a deep breath, and let the ice form in my voice. "Wow, Clara," I said calmly. "Thank you for the wedding present." The silence on the other end of the line was the loudest sound I had ever heard. What she says next will unravel a secret so dark it will tear our family apart forever. If you're already hooked, you won't want to miss what's coming. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss Chapter 2. And let us know in the comments where you are watching from. The story is just getting started. The silence on the phone was a confession. I could hear my sister's sharp, panicked breaths. For the first time in her life, Clara, the perfect one, had been caught. She didn't try to deny it. She didn't try to apologize. She just whispered a single, broken word, "Helen," and hung up. The click of the phone ending the call was deafening. The sunlight that filled the room moments before now felt cold and gray. Liam walked over to me, his face a mixture of anger and concern. He gently took the phone from my hand and set it on the table. He put his hands on my shoulders, forcing me to look at him. "Forget her," he said, his voice firm. "We can cancel everything. It's just you and me. That's all that matters. What do you want to do?" The question hung in the air. What did I want to do? My mind refused to answer. Instead, it drifted back in time, to a hot summer day 15 years ago. I finally understood that this betrayal wasn't new. It had been growing in the dark for years, ever since the incident at the lake. The one our family never, ever spoke about. We were at our grandparents' lake house. I was 13, and Clara was 15. A little boy, no older than 5, had wandered onto the old wooden dock. He was chasing a frog and slipped, falling into the deep, dark water with a silent splash. No one else saw him. I didn't think. I just jumped. The cold water shocked my lungs as I dove under, grabbing for his small shirt. I pulled him up and swam for the shore, his little body limp in my arms. He coughed up water and started crying, alive and scared, but safe. That afternoon, I was the hero. My parents hugged me until my ribs ached. Our grandfather told everyone in town the story. For one day, I wasn't just Clara's shy little sister. I was the brave girl who had saved a life. I felt seen, maybe for the first time. But when I looked at Clara, I didn't see pride in her eyes. I saw something else. A cold, flat jealousy that scared me more than the deep water. It was a look that said, "You stole this from me." It was the moment I realized my sister didn't always wish me well. Later that night, she came into my room. She sat on the edge of my bed in the dark and whispered, "They'll forget about this, you know, and I'll make sure they see you for what you really are." Her words were a promise, a seed of poison planted long ago. The memory vanished, and I was back in my apartment, staring at my fiancé. The hurt in my heart was hardening into something else, something cold and strong like steel. Liam was waiting for an answer. He thought I was broken. He was wrong. I was being born. "So we cancel the wedding?" he asked softly. I shook my head and a slow, deliberate smile spread across my face. "Oh no," I replied, my voice dangerously calm. "The wedding is happening. Clara just gave me the most wonderful idea for her bridesmaid's gift." Liam stared at me, his eyes filled with worry. "A gift? Helen, what are you talking about? This isn't a game." He thought the shock had broken me, that I wasn't thinking clearly. He gently took my hands in his, trying to bring me back to reality. I pulled my hands away, not unkindly, but with a new firmness. "You're right, Liam. It's not a game," I said, my voice steady. "It's our wedding. And everything is going to be perfect. Now, the first step is to make a phone call. But we are not calling Clara." He looked relieved for a second, but then confused. "So, we call your parents? Explain what happened." I shook my head. That was the last thing I would do. "No, not yet. The first person we call," I said, picking up my own phone, "is my best friend, Sarah." "Sarah? Your bridesmaid?" Liam asked, trying to keep up. A small, cold smile touched my lips. "Not anymore," I said as I found her number in my contacts. "As of right now, Sarah is my new maid of honor." The decision felt clean and sharp, like a surgeon's cut. Liam's face clouded with a new worry. "But Helen, your family. Clara will go straight to them. She will twist this whole thing around and make you sound like the crazy one. You know your parents will believe her. They always do." He was right, and that was the problem. I let out a long breath I'd been holding for years. My parents have been cleaning up Clara's messes since she ruined Grandma's 80th birthday party. They see the golden child, not the darkness behind her eyes. This time, I won't let them look away. This was about more than just Liam. Before he could protest, I called Sarah. The conversation was quick. There were no tears, no long explanations. "Sarah, something has happened with Clara," I said calmly. "I can't explain it all now, but can you be my maid of honor?" There was a pause, then a simple, loyal yes. After I hung up, I grabbed a notepad and a pen. Step 1 was done. "Okay, now it's your turn," I said to Liam, my mind racing ahead. "I need you to call the wedding venue. The reception hall." My voice was all business, the hurt sealed away behind a wall of ice. "The venue? To cancel the reservation?" he asked, still trying to understand the shift in me. "No," I replied, writing projector at the top of my list. "I need you to confirm that the grand ballroom's projector and sound system are in perfect working order for Saturday." Liam finally understood this was real. He knelt in front of me and asked the question I was waiting for. Helen, I'll do anything. But please, just tell me the plan. I looked from his trusting face to his phone on the table, the phone that held the recording of my sister's true self. Clara wanted to be the star of my wedding, I said, my voice dangerously soft. So I'm going to give her the stage. She just doesn't know the performance will be a confession. Liam's face was a canvas of shock, which slowly transformed into a look of complete admiration. A confession, he repeated, the words tasting new in his mouth. He stood up, no longer seeing me as a fragile victim, but as a partner. Okay, Helen. I trust you. What's next? The recording, I said, pointing to his phone. Send it to me right now. I need multiple copies, stored in a safe place. My mind was already working, seeing the plan unfold. I'll edit the audio. I'll lay it over a photo of her. Something sweet. A picture of us as children. Just as he was about to press send, my phone began to buzz. The screen lit up with a name that made my stomach clench. Mom. I knew it was coming. Clara had launched her attack, and my parents were her first soldiers. The battle had officially begun. I took a deep breath and answered, putting the call on speaker. My mother's voice skipped a greeting and went straight for the kill. Helen Marie Vega, your sister is in tears. She said you kicked her out of your wedding for no reason. What on earth is wrong with you? The old me would have crumbled, apologizing for a crime I didn't commit. But the new me stood firm. Mom, what exactly did Clara say happened? I asked, my voice unervingly calm. She said you were jealous and stressed, and that you took it all out on her. I resisted the urge to scream the truth. It wasn't time. Not yet. Mom, you have always protected Clara. You did the same thing when Dad lost all his pension money. You never once stopped to ask why Clara suddenly had a new car right after it happened. A shocked silence met my words. What are you talking about? My mother stammered. What does that have to do with this? The open loop was set. A seed of doubt was planted. You'll understand everything soon, I promised. Just come to the wedding. Please. I hung up. I let out a shaky breath, the conversation leaving me drained. Liam wrapped his arms around me. That was the hardest part, he whispered. I shook my head and looked at my list. No, I said, a new resolve hardening my voice. The next part is. He looked at me, confused. What's next? I grabbed my purse and car keys from the counter, my mission clear. We're going shopping. Liam's brow furrowed. Shopping. For what? Helen, your dress is perfect. He gestured to the beautiful gown hanging on our bedroom door. A strange smile played on my lips. The plan was clicking into place, piece by perfect piece. Oh, the dress isn't for me, I said, turning to face him. It's for Clara. I have to make sure my maid of honor looks absolutely stunning for the big day. Liam's face was a mask of confusion. For Clara? Helen, you fired her as your maid of honor. You promoted Sarah. Why on earth would you buy a dress for the one person trying to ruin our lives? He was trying to see the logic, to find the map for my plan. Because we have to pretend everything is normal, I explained, my voice low and steady. Clara is expecting me to scream and cry. She wants me to uninvite her so she can play the victim to our family. We are going to do the exact opposite. We are going to kill her with kindness. A slow understanding dawned on Liam's face. You're not going to shut her out, he whispered, the idea finally clicking. You're going to invite her in. I nodded. The closer she is, the harder she will fall. And for this to work, she needs to look the part. We drove to the fanciest department store in the city. We weren't looking for a bridesmaid dress. We were looking for a trap made of silk and thread. We found it almost immediately. A stunning floor-length gown in emerald green, Clara's favorite color. It was a dress designed to make someone feel important. Just as I reached for the price tag, Liam's phone buzzed. He pulled it from his pocket, and a shadow passed over his face. "Helen," he said urgently, "you need to see this." He held out the phone. The message was from Mark, the ex-boyfriend Clara had used in her web of lies. The text read, "Hey Liam, weird question. Clara just messaged me asking for old photos of us. She said it was for a surprise slideshow for the wedding. This feels wrong. What should I do?" My blood ran cold. She wasn't just a liar. She was a creator of false evidence. The old me would have been crushed. The new me saw an opportunity. "Tell him to send them to her," I said, my voice barely a whisper. Liam stared at me. "Are you sure?" I nodded. "Tell him to send the one from my 21st birthday. The one where I'm crying on his shoulder." Liam didn't understand, but he trusted me. He texted Mark back while I took the emerald dress to the checkout counter. The cashier smiled warmly. "This is beautiful. Your sister is going to be so happy," she said. "Is she your maid of honor?" I returned her smile with one of my own, bright and fake. "Yes, she is," I said. "She is going to be the absolute center of attention on my big day." The lie felt practiced, perfect. This was the role I was born to play. The loving, unsuspecting sister. As we left the store, the dress bag swinging between us, I turned to Liam. A new, more dangerous idea was forming in my mind. "The audio recording isn't enough anymore," I said, my eyes gleaming with a cold fire. "Clara wants a slideshow. I think we should give her one." Liam watched me, his mind racing to connect the pieces of my plan. "A slideshow? Helen, what are you possibly going to show them?" He saw the dress, he knew about the recording, but he couldn't see how they would all fit together in the final, terrible picture. "The most loving slideshow anyone has ever seen," I replied as we got back to our apartment. I opened my laptop, the screen lighting up my determined face. "We are going to create a beautiful tribute to my maid of honor. A story of two sisters who loved each other more than anything." The plan was simple, like all the best traps. The video would be filled with photos of us as smiling children, on family holidays, and at graduations, all set to a sweet, emotional song. Then, the final photo would appear, a recent, perfect picture of us. The music would fade, and her voice would fill the silence. Liam's eyes went wide. "It's brilliant," he whispered. "But what about the picture from your 21st birthday? Mark sent it to her. You're crying in it. She'll use it to prove you were unhappy with him, just like she said." It was the one piece that didn't seem to fit. A flicker of old pain crossed my face. "Clara thinks I was crying over a silly fight with Mark," I said softly. "But I was crying because our parents had just told me my college fund was empty. They used it to quietly pay off Clara's massive gambling debts." For the rest of the evening, we worked. We became a team, united in a silent mission. Liam gathered the photos and the audio file, while I arranged them into a perfect story. We built a beautiful memory of a sisterhood that was a complete and utter lie. Just as Liam was adding the final photo, my phone buzzed, startling us both. We stared at the screen. It was a text message from Clara. After a full day of silence, she was finally reaching out, ready to make her next move in the chess game only she thought she was playing. Her message was not an apology. It was an attack disguised as concern. "Helen, I heard you told Mom some crazy stories. I'm worried about you. We need to talk before your stress ruins the most important day of your life." She was trying to label me as unstable. Liam looked at me, his expression tense. "Are you going to reply?" he asked. The old Helen would have been hurt by the cruel words. But the new Helen only saw the move of a predictable opponent. I knew exactly what I had to do next to corner the queen. I picked up the phone and began to type. "I'm inviting her over for brunch tomorrow morning," I told Liam, not looking up from the screen. "I'm going to give her the beautiful new dress, and I am going to beg for her forgiveness." Liam stared at me as if I'd lost my mind. Apologize. Helen, you're going to apologize to her. He couldn't understand the strategy. In his mind, like in any good person's mind, the villain was supposed to be punished, not rewarded. He thought my resolve was cracking. To beat a predator, you have to think like one, I said calmly, arranging plates for brunch the next morning. Clara needs to feel like she's in control. She needs to believe I am weak and broken. The perfect apology is the only way to make her let her guard down. When the doorbell rang, my heart pounded, but my hands were steady. I opened it to find my sister standing on our doorstep. She had a look of cautious concern on her face, but I could see the smug satisfaction sparkling deep in her eyes. She thought she had won. The moment she saw me, I let my face crumble. Fake tears streamed down my cheeks. Clara, I am so sorry, I cried, throwing my arms around her. The wedding planning has made me a monster. I was awful to you, and I didn't mean any of it. Please, forgive me. Her victory was complete. She hugged me back, her embrace feeling triumphant. Oh, honey, of course I forgive you, she said, her voice dripping with fake sympathy. I told Mom you were just having a breakdown. You were just like this after you got that rejection letter from the art school. I pulled away, wiping my eyes. I want you to be my maid of honor again, I said, my voice choked with emotion. I pushed a large, beautifully wrapped gift box into her hands. This is for you. A peace offering. Please, just say you'll be by my side. Clara's eyes lit up as she opened the box. She gasped when she saw the emerald green dress. Helen, it's stunning, she breathed, holding it up against her body. It's perfect. The bait was not just taken. It was devoured. She felt safe. She felt worshipped. I have one more surprise for you, I said, my voice full of forced excitement. At the reception, I'm playing a slideshow. It's a tribute to you, to show everyone how much my big sister means to me. Now she wasn't just safe, she was the star. She beamed, her ego glowing. A slideshow all about me? Helen, that's the sweetest thing ever. Did you use any of those silly old photos I managed to get from Mark? She asked, a sly look on her face. She thought she was so clever. I gave her the brightest, most innocent smile I could manage. Of course I did, I said. I even used my favorite, the picture from my 21st birthday. It's the very last photo I show, I added, right before a special voice recording I made just for you. Clara left my apartment holding the emerald dress like a prize she had won. The second the door clicked shut, my fake smile melted away. Liam stepped out from the bedroom, his face pale with disbelief. I cannot believe she bought all of that, he whispered, shaking his head. She didn't buy it, I replied, feeling the immense weight of my own performance. She was desperate to believe it. The final 24 hours before the wedding passed in a blur of normal things. We picked up flowers, we confirmed the cake, but every simple act felt like a secret preparation for war. As we drove across town, my mind replayed what Clara said about art school. It was my dream, my one true passion. I told Liam how my entire application portfolio had vanished from my locker just 1 week before it was due. I never had proof, but I knew. It was always her. Later that afternoon, we had our final meeting with the wedding coordinator at the reception hall. She smiled at us, clipboard in hand. Everything is ready for tomorrow, she said cheerfully. And the AV team has been briefed. They're ready to play the special sister slideshow the moment you give the signal. The word signal hung in the air, cold and heavy. For a moment that night, as I sat on our couch, I felt a wave of doubt. Was I a monster for planning this? To ruin my own sister, in front of our entire family and all our friends, on my wedding day. Liam must have seen the fear in my eyes. He sat next to me, taking my hand in his. She didn't just lie, Helen, he said, his voice a firm anchor in my sea of doubt. She tried to burn down our whole future. We aren't lighting the match. We are just showing everyone who did. Just then, my phone rang. It was my parents. Their voices were bubbly and bright. "Helen, darling. We're so happy you and Clara worked things out," my mother said. "She told us all about the wonderful surprise slideshow you made for her. It's just so sweet of you." Hearing their happy ignorance was the final push I needed. They had been blind for my entire life. Tomorrow, I would give them sight. After the call, Liam walked toward me. In his hand, he held a small, silver USB drive. It felt like the key to everything. "It's ready," he said quietly. "The pictures, the happy music, her voice. It's all on here." He held it out to me, his eyes searching mine for any last-minute hesitation. "This is it, Helen. Are you absolutely, 100% sure you're ready for this?" I took the small device from his hand. It felt heavy with the weight of the future. "I am," I said, my voice clear and steady. Then I looked up at him, one final detail clicking into place. "Did you remember to call your uncle? The one who's a financial investigator?" In the quiet of the morning, Liam looked at me, his face set with resolve. "I called my uncle," he confirmed. "He's a financial investigator. He said that when large sums of money disappear around the same person, again and again, it's not a coincidence. It's a crime." My wedding day began with a strange sense of peace. As my true maid of honor, Sarah, helped me into my white dress, I felt like an actress in a play. I was the image of innocence and hope, all while preparing to bring down the walls of my family's carefully built castle of lies. Clara arrived in her emerald green dress, a vision of sisterly perfection. She fluttered around me, adjusting my veil and telling me how happy she was. She played her role so masterfully that for a second, even I could almost believe the beautiful lie she was living. Just before we walked out, she pulled me close, her smile as bright as a diamond. "You look so beautiful, Helen," she whispered, her voice sweet as poison. "I'm so glad you came to your senses. I will always be here to guide you." It was her final, gentle assertion of power. Walking down the aisle was an out-of-body experience. I saw my parents in the front row, weeping with joy. They were so proud of their two daughters, one getting married, the other standing faithfully by her side. They had no idea their entire world was about to burn. I reached Liam at the altar, and his hand in mine was my anchor. As the priest spoke of love, honor, and truth, my eyes found Clara. She stood there, the living, breathing symbol of every broken promise, smiling as if she were a saint. This was the reason I had to do this. Then came the words that made my heart stop. "If anyone has any reason why these two should not be married, speak now or forever hold your peace." A deep silence fell over the church. My gaze locked with Clara's. I saw the flicker of a thought in her eyes, and I held my breath. But she stayed silent, her smile never wavering. The moment passed. We said our vows, we exchanged our rings, and we were declared husband and wife. The crowd cheered, and relief washed over me. The ceremony was over. The performance could begin. As we walked back up the aisle, a married couple, the organ playing a joyful song, Liam leaned in. He smiled for the guests, but his words were only for me. His whisper was not just one of love, but of alliance in the war to come. Amid the shower of rice and happy cheers, he murmured in my ear, "Are you ready to end this, Mrs. Vega?" I squeezed his hand, my resolve like iron. "Yes," I whispered back. "Tell the wedding coordinator I'm ready to give my toast." Our reception was a fairy tale. The tables were covered in flowers, and music filled the air as our friends and family celebrated. Clara sat next to me at the head table, the queen in her emerald green dress. She was so happy, so sure of her victory. She had no idea she was the guest of honor at her own downfall. I stood, gently tapping my champagne glass. The laughter in the room died down as all eyes turned to me. "I'd like to propose a toast," I said, my voice strong and clear. "To my big sister and maid of honor, Clara. More than anyone, she has always wanted my life to be a big story." I raised my glass high. "This one's for you, Clara." That was the signal. The ballroom lights dimmed, and the giant projector screen behind me hummed to life. Clara clapped her hands in delight, beaming with pride. "Oh, Helen," she whispered, squeezing my arm. "You're the best." The slideshow started with sweet music and pictures of us as children, laughing and playing. The guests smiled. My parents watched, their eyes glistening with happy tears. Clara was the star, just as I had promised. She soaked in the attention, completely unaware that the ground was about to crumble beneath her feet. Then, the final picture flashed on the screen. Me, crying on my 21st birthday. The happy music cut out. A confused silence fell over the room. Clara leaned in, ready to whisper something cruel. And then her own voice, sharp and secret, filled every corner of the silent hall. "Liam, are you alone?" The recorded words echoed, crystal clear. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "She's been seeing her ex-boyfriend. She's in a huge amount of debt. She called you her safety net." Every lie, every piece of poison she had ever spoken, was now laid bare for the world to hear. I turned and watched my sister. The beautiful smile on her face melted into a mask of pure terror. The color drained from her cheeks. Her eyes darted from face to face, but all she found was shock and disgust. My parents looked like they had been turned to stone. The recording ended with my own calm voice from that fateful day. "Wow, Clara. Thank you for the wedding present." The screen went black. As the lights came up, the silence was broken by my mother's shattered sob. Clara stumbled to her feet, her mouth opening and closing, but no words came out. She turned and fled the room. I stood there, not in anger, but in a profound, quiet peace. Liam came to my side and took my hand. The nightmare was finally over. Across the room, I saw Liam's investigator uncle talking quietly with my father, showing him a file full of papers. A new chapter, one built on truth, had just begun. My sister tried to write my story for me, but I took the pen back and wrote my own ending. If my story touched you, and if you believe that truth will always win, please like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel for more stories of justice and empowerment. Thank you for watching.